Love blinded me once, but not anymore. Samantha and I had built a life together, 8 years of marriage, laughter, shared dreams. But something had changed. A cold, unspoken distance settled between us, creeping in like an uninvited guest. I first noticed the shift in small things. Samantha had always been an open book, her phone left carelessly on the couch, her social media messages visible from across the room. Then, suddenly, her phone became an extension of her hand. She carried it everywhere, even to the bathroom. Notifications flashed, but she never checked them when I was around. Her laughter, once shared so freely, became reserved for private conversations with someone else. "Work's been crazy lately," she said one evening, slipping off her heels with an exhausted sigh. "Late meetings, deadlines piling up." I nodded, pretending to accept it, but my gut churned with unease. Samantha never used to work late. In fact, she once prided herself on keeping a strict work-life balance. So why the sudden change? It escalated further. She started dressing up more often, makeup perfectly applied, outfits meticulously chosen. Perfume lingered on her skin, an intoxicating scent she hadn't worn in years. When I commented on it, she smiled, but her eyes flickered with something else. Nervousness, guilt, maybe even fear. Then came the lies. One evening, she claimed she was meeting coworkers for dinner. "Just a casual night out," she said, avoiding my gaze. "Which restaurant?" I asked casually. She hesitated. That new Italian place downtown." A simple Google search revealed the restaurant had closed for renovations last month. My pulse quickened. My wife, my supposed partner, was lying straight to my face. That night, as she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling, mind racing. Was I paranoid? Was I imagining things? I wanted to believe in her, to trust her, but the pieces didn't fit. The final straw came a week later. Samantha returned home late, her cheeks flushed, her hair slightly disheveled. A strong, musky cologne clung to her skin, one that wasn't mine. "Long meeting?" I asked, masking the bitterness in my voice. She nodded too quickly. "Yeah, really draining." She disappeared into the bathroom, avoiding further conversation. I clenched my fist. Enough was enough. I needed answers. And if she thought she could keep her betrayal hidden, she was dead wrong. Doubt gnawed at me like a relentless parasite. Samantha thought she was being careful, but her deception had cracks, and I was determined to expose them. I started observing her closely, taking mental notes of every inconsistency. She became more guarded, texting in quick, hidden motions, always tilting the screen away. Her laughter, once genuine and shared, now felt like a secret I wasn't part of. Then, an opportunity presented itself. "I have to travel for work," I told her one evening while she was getting dressed. She barely glanced at me. "Oh? When?" "Tomorrow. Just for a night." Her reaction was almost too casual. "All right, safe travels." No sadness, no disappointment, just mild acknowledgement. That was all the confirmation I needed. The next day, I packed my bag, kissed her goodbye, and drove away, only to circle back after 30 minutes. I parked down the street, hidden in the shadows, watching. The clock ticked, and with each passing minute, my stomach twisted tighter. At precisely 9 p.m., a sleek black car pulled up to our house. My heart pounded. The driver stepped out, a tall, well-dressed man with an air of confidence. He rang the doorbell, and Samantha appeared almost instantly, her face lighting up in a way she hadn't looked at me in months. She stepped forward, wrapping her arms around him, pressing her lips dangerously close to his ear. He whispered something that made her giggle. Then, she took his hand and led him inside. A surge of rage coursed through me. My wife, my supposed partner, had just invited another man into our home, into our bed. I gripped my phone with trembling hands, capturing every damning moment. Photos, videos, proof. If Samantha thought she could weave a web of lies around me, she had underestimated just how much I was willing to uncover. I sat in the car, fists clenched, breathing heavily. Every part of me wanted to storm inside, to tear apart the illusion she had crafted, to demand answers she would never truthfully give. But I didn't. Not yet. This wasn't just about confronting her, it was about making sure she had no way out. She thought she could deceive me. She was dead wrong. Betrayal burns, but patience is a sharper blade. I had all the proof I needed, photos, videos, timestamp. But exposing Samantha's affair wasn't enough. I needed her to feel the weight of her deception before I shattered her world. The next morning, I acted normal. Over breakfast, she scrolled through her phone absent-mindedly, sipping coffee, while I studied her. "How was your night?" I asked, keeping my voice even. She barely looked up. "Exhausting. Just work stuff." A lie, smooth and effortless. I clenched my jaw, suppressing the urge to throw my coffee mug across the room. Instead, I smiled. "I missed you." That got her attention. Guilt flickered in her eyes, but she masked it quickly. "I missed you too. Liar." I leaned forward, resting my chin on my hand. "We should go on a weekend trip. Just the two of us. Get away from all the stress." She hesitated, then forced a smile. "That sounds nice. Let me check my schedule." Check her schedule? For her own husband? The audacity made my blood boil. That evening, I made my move. I transferred half of our joint savings into a private account. Cancelled the credit card she frequently used. I even met with a lawyer, ensuring every step I took would leave her with no leverage. The next day, I set the trap. Dinner reservations at La Bella Vita, I told her over text. Our favorite spot. 8 p.m. Where's something beautiful? She replied with a heart emoji, acting like the perfect wife. But I already knew the truth. At exactly 7:30 p.m., I parked near the restaurant, but I wasn't going inside. Instead, I waited. Sure enough, at 7:45 p.m., Samantha walked past the entrance, dressed in a sleek black dress, her makeup flawless, but she didn't go inside. She slid into another car. His car. I followed them. The tension in my chest coiled tighter with each turn they made, leading me deeper into their deceit. They arrived at an upscale hotel. The valet took his keys while Samantha laughed, clinging to his arm. The moment they stepped inside, I exhaled slowly, my hands tightening around my phone. I wasn't just going to confront her. I was going to destroy every illusion she had left. She thought she had fooled me. She was dead wrong. I sat in my car, watching my wife disappear into the hotel with her lover. My heartbeat was steady now, no longer fueled by disbelief, just cold, calculated resolve. The moment she crossed that threshold, she sealed her fate. With one deep breath, I pulled out my phone and made a call. "Everything set?" I asked. A firm voice answered. "Yes. Documents are ready. She won't see it coming." I smirked. Perfect. Samantha thought she had been playing me, stringing me along with her lies. But the reality? I had been playing her all along. The setup. I walked into the hotel lobby, dressed sharply, confidence radiating from every step. The receptionist barely blinked when I requested a room key, thanks to a well-placed bribe earlier that afternoon. Upstairs, the air was thick with deception. I stood outside their suite, hearing muffled laughter, hers. The same laughter she used to give me. I knocked. Silence. Then hurried footstep. The door creaked open, and Samantha's smile froze when she saw me standing there. Wrapped in a hotel robe, her hair tousled, she looked like a deer caught in headlights. "Surprise," I said, stepping inside before she could react. Her lover, a man I now knew as Eric, was sitting on the bed, shirt unbuttoned, holding a glass of whiskey. He stared at me, stunned, then at Samantha, whose face had drained of color. What are you doing here?" she stammered. I tossed my phone on the bed. The screen played a video, her and Eric, sneaking into our home, kissing in our kitchen, undressing in our bedroom. I had set up cameras days ago, knowing she wouldn't be able to resist bringing him into our space. Eric paled. Samantha's hands shook. I can explain," she whispered. I let out a short laugh. Explain? No need. I know everything. I turned to Eric. Did she tell you she's married? That she's been using our money to fund these little rendezvous? Eric looked at Samantha, realization dawning on his face. You told me you were single. She flinched. Eric, Save it, I cut in, tossing an envelope on the bed. Inside are divorce papers. I already had my lawyer draft them. Consider yourself served. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, don't do this. I made a mistake. I stepped back, smirking. You made many mistakes. And the best part? The house, the savings, everything's under my name. You walk away with nothing. She gasped. You wouldn't. I leaned in, voice low. I already did. Eric, now disgusted, grabbed his shirt and stormed out. Samantha fell to her knees, sobbing, but I felt nothing. No sadness, no regret. Just liberation. Turning toward the door, I gave her one last look. You thought I didn't have proof. You were dead wrong. And with that, I walked away, leaving her to drown in the ruins of her own betrayal.